Hey guys, it's Justin Henry with Emerge Marketing Strategies. Today's EmergeUp, I got Marcus Riley, NFL alum, with me today. He's going to be talking a little bit about his journey, going through what it was like being a professional athlete, but then also building an educational hub for new, young, up-and-coming football players. We're going to talk about his growth using social media and also other marketing tools. Check it out. Welcome to another episode of EmergeUp. Today I have Marcus Riley with me. How you doing today, Marcus?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Hey, I'm excited to talk to him, longtime friend of mine, but I want to dive into his expertise, talking a little bit about his entrepreneurial journey, what it was like as an athlete, building a brand and building a business. So, Marcus, talk to me a little bit about, go back a little bit, right?
Yeah,
go back to high school, but talk a little bit about your past and just going through that journey as an athlete.
Well, basically, as you know, starting off in Elk Grove High School, I wasn't a big time recruit.
Yeah.
So I've kind of developed over the years, kind of a chip on my shoulder, not really being big enough, fast enough, and all of those different things. But I was able to receive a scholarship at Fresno State.
Yep.
And fortunately, they were actually recruiting another guy on my team. But they were able to see me. I impressed them enough for them to give me a scholarship, which was super beneficial to help my parents out doing that. And knowing that I wasn't a big time recruit, I didn't go into college with plans of going to the NFL. I really just wanted to get on the field. And so being able to get that opportunity while I was young as a freshman, a redshirt freshman, and play, and then even deal with, some adversity. I tore my ACL in college and was able to rebound from that. Yeah, so I was able to rebound from that, actually playing against USC, and then I had a great senior year. I was the WAC Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
I had one of the best seasons of my life. And I think really at that point I realized, my potential and possibly being able to play at the next level.
Right.
And, I was able to do that for a few years. And had a great time doing it.
Yeah, so grind mode, man.
Grind mode.
You had to go and kind of prove yourself. And I think that's a common thing with people that we have on the EmergeUp series is that there's a lot of growth, mentally, physically, and so you went through that journey, you got to the NFL, actually got to that place. What was that like? What was that whole experience like for your team?
It was great, man. I wish I would have played better, but at the same time, I'm glad that I made it that far.
Right.
It didn't last as long as I wanted it to.
That's a huge accolade in itself.
No, it is a huge accolade in itself, but, it was fun, to be around guys, to, sign on a team with Lance Briggs, who I looked up to since, I was in the 6th grade. And, be on the same team with a Hall of Famer like Brian Urlacher.
Right.
And just be around different guys and different coaches, Winston Moss with the Green Bay Packers and different guys that I respected growing up. It was a great experience.
No, that's cool. And I know you got a couple highlights out there, and I know one that I've seen wasn't from the NFL, it's from your time in college.
To Hawaii that Fresno State has a chance.
3rd down and 7. Carter with the pressure on. Brennan got away. Now he's going to try and run, and man, is he leveled by Marcus Riley. And Brennan.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So probably one of my biggest plays of my life really was a hit against Cole Brennan. He was up for the Heisman at the time.
Yep.
We were playing against Hawaii. And the thing about the games against Hawaii were the night games were the only games on.
Yeah.
Right? So it'd be the last thing on Saturday night. Everybody, has their story of where they were when they saw that hit, being out at the bar or being wherever they were at, and that game being on ESPN. 3rd down, we had to get off the field. He scrambled. I was able to make a big time play. And was able to get some viral views off of that.
Well, it probably helps your brand, the Marcus Riley brand, even take it to that next level. So when you went to the NFL, people probably, I'm sure those guys are probably about that.
No, definitely, man. That was, it was definitely a wake-up call. And it wasn't until that hit that agents started to contact me. I started to get on a few NFL teams' radar.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, this guy can actually play.
Right.
So, it's fortunate for me to have that viral moment, but sometimes you need that moment for people to take it, a second step. Like, what's going on over here?
And it's not even like you didn't have the talent. Obviously you had the talent,
For sure.
right? But you just needed that exposure.
Exactly.
And sometimes you're just waiting on that moment.
For sure.
With this social media thing, man, it's crazy because everybody wants that instant stardom.
Yes.
But what I'm hearing from you is that it was a grind. You were making plays like that all season. It was the timing of it, because it was late night, because it was on ESPN, because you had the world watching you. Then when the moment went viral, it was because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And so talk a little bit about, you exited the NFL. What were you working on even after that and leading up to now? Like, what's that journey been like for you?
Oh man, it's been a roller coaster. My first time, leaving football, I didn't really leave initially because I went straight into coaching.
Right.
My mentor, who's now a coach for the Memphis Express in the Alliance of American Football League, he was at the time the defensive coordinator for Southern Methodist University.
Okay.
And he called me with an opportunity for me to come and coach for him, get my master's paid for, and decide if I want to coach or not. And, I was still in this limbo of I want to be back in the NFL, I'm playing in the UFL,
Right.
and I'm like, you know what? This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I need to go ahead and take this.
Yeah.
So I went straight into coaching, and I loved it. It didn't feel like work. I loved every bit of it. And then I had my son here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So I kind of relocated, I needed to be in his life. So I came back to Sac and tried to get a regular job.
Right.
I figured, a lot of times people say, have a backup plan. When you're an athlete, have a backup plan, have a backup plan. And it didn't really click with me.
Why not?
I don't know, my backup plan was always my degree.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you grow up in a household, when somebody just goes to work every day, a lot of times you see that as your future.
That's what you know.
That's what you know.
Right.
I was fortunate enough, my dad being an entrepreneur and my mom going to work every day.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of both. So, I want that security of work every day, but then at the same time, I've seen how good it can get.
That risk factor, a little risky, but
exactly,
you see
that risk factor.
Right.
But I got a little bit of both sides. But I think when I came back, that was my whole backup plan. Was I have a degree? My parents don't even have a degree.
Yeah.
I have my master's.
Yep.
It'll be easy for me to get a job. I can get a good paying job. Doing, my BA was in communications, and I always felt like whatever I do, I'll be communicating.
Right.
So somebody will hire me, I can find a job easily. And it wasn't as easy as I thought.
So, we talked a little bit about how after the grind, you got back and you had your master's, right? So
Right.
you were coaching at SMU and had to come back here to SAC. So talk a little bit about just your journey from there until, I know you got linebacker school, man. That's a crazy thing. I want to hear a little bit more about that, but talk about your journey leading up to that.
Well, there was a camp I was coaching at when I was at SMU, and after the camp, his two parents came up to me with their son, and they asked me, Coach, is there anything that you can tell us that could get us to SMU? And the look on their face was like, man, I had the key to this kid's future.
Right.
And a light bulb had went off. Like, man, if I'm not coach or if I'm not working, I have a lot of information that people could use.
Right.
That could help them and benefit them. And so when I came back and I tried to get a job, and I did get a few jobs, but nothing that I wanted to set up as a career.
Right.
I was like, you know what? I've spent a lot of hours invested in football. Now is the time, that I turn this recycled knowledge, and monetize it for myself, for my family, and see how I could, and so all this information, it's not just sitting up there and go to waste. It's like, I could give this to somebody to help them out, and how could I, what's my price structure? How do I figure that out? But then I came back, my passion was in coaching. I came back and became the defensive coordinator at Pleasant Grove High School. Substitute teaching, to be around kids.
Yeah.
To learn the kids in the area. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go full head on this and create a linebacker school and I picked linebacker school even though I trained a lot of different positions. I just feel like the linebacker is synonymous with being a leader. You know, you always hear about the quarterbacks, but as we saw in the Super Bowl, you know, it took that defense to win that game.
Yeah, dude.
You know, it was what defense was going to break first. You know, so as the linebacker being the leader of the defense, calling the calls, making the checks, and leading that, you know, animal linebacker at heart, that's really what I went with. But, you know, it's really about getting my passion.
That's dope, man. And that's what I hear from you, the passion part. You know, it's what you love to do, and I think that it's easy, especially on social, like, to be something, you're trying to be something you're not.
For sure.
And a lot of people do that. You know, they want to be the famous person, they want to be next to a car with a lot of money, or even their careers. You know, they go into a career that they hate because they think that's what they're supposed to do. You talked about it, you know, like that's what you saw growing up. You're like, man, that's the expectation for me, that's what I need to do. But for you, man, it seemed like no matter where you went, the passion kept coming back for you, and the way you were able to get back. You know, you said you wish you played in the league longer. You wish, you know, that part was there, but the coaching aspect, the knowledge that you had built up, that resilience, you know, it sounded like that was even, you know, you mentioned Pleasant Grove and still having a substitute teach, like your passion was still there. You were building so that you could start this linebacker school, man. And so with that, talk to me a little bit about what is linebacker school? What are you doing now, and how did it begin?
You know, it began as just like I said, wanting to give back this recycled knowledge, and how could I help these kids out? And so basically with linebacker school, I've kind of, you know, aimed to, you know, put it more online, you know, through social media, going live at least once a week, you know, having a Teach Tape Tuesdays to really get an in-depth look of how I would watch film.
On what platforms?
On right now it's just on Instagram.
Okay.
So right now Instagram Live, at Linebacker School every week, Tuesday nights at 7.
Okay.
You know, I'm getting the opportunity to teach how I would watch myself.
Right.
So the difference, you know, a lot of times, a lot of guys use film on somebody else. I'm using actual film from when I played. So I'm using, you know, whether it be NFL, the UFL, college, you know, I'm in the process of getting some high school tape broken down, you know, getting that digitalized, because, you know, we played in the VHS era, VCR era, so.
Actually hitting rewind, right?
Yeah, hitting rewind, so I'm trying to get that digitized. But just watching myself, what I did wrong, you know, if I was coaching myself, what I did right, I was super hard on myself as a player to do everything perfect. And so I think it's good for the kids, you know, to get a chance to see that. Right.
And it's cool because you're showing them your take too. It's not just them, you're not just criticizing them, you're like, this is how I would judge myself, you know? And I think going and being able to see that and teach that on Teach Tape Tuesday, you know, it's something consistent. They know what to expect. And I know that, you know, being able to put that on it, that it'll lead to that right moment.
Definitely.
That moment when something does go viral, you make that point that changes somebody's career. And even now, you know, you're teaching these other kids how to watch their own tape, how to judge themselves. Like, I think that's such an important tool because as they grow as players, now they're going to know linebacker school is where I learned that. Where are you hoping that it leads to? Like, what's the future goal for linebacker school, and what do you have in place for it?
You know, I hope that linebacker school is the centerpiece of, you know, a much bigger entity that just surrounds football.
Yeah.
So whether it be doing clinics, whether it be doing major camps, whether it be traveling around the world teaching football,
other players, like other cities,
in America. You know what I mean? Hey, linebacker school in Chicago. Getting somebody like Lance Briggs to partner with, you know, and then taking our show even across the pond. You know, I have, you know, even with linebacker school only being, you know, very early in its stages, I'm already reaching out to the UK in different parts of the world with kids that want to learn how to play football. And football is a growing sport worldwide, as we all know. You know, they have the Europe games every year with the NFL, and so, you know, being able to teach and give back this recycled knowledge on a bigger platform.
Yeah, and it's crazy how many people you can reach on a platform like IG. You know, there's a huge impact, and I know you felt that not with just you, but your little one.
For sure.
Right? Talk a little bit about that, man, because I saw that post. I know a lot of other people did, man. So talk a little bit about what happened there.
Well, that was cool, man. You know, my son went to the game with his mom.
What game?
You know, the Kings game. Went to the Sacramento Kings game with his mom, and they had pretty good seats, and he was fortunate enough to be close by when some of the players were coming out.
Yeah.
So she took a video of him, you know, giving a high five to Iman Shumpert, you know, sent it to me like, hey, he's having fun at the game. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
He looked so excited. I posted on IG and Twitter or something, and next thing you know, Shumpert retweeted it. You know, then the Kings retweeted it, the Bleacher Report, and House of Highlights, and BET, and all these other, you know, all these, and I think it was about 2 or 3 million views. I think it's still getting retweeted on, still getting some notifications on Twitter. But it's just crazy when you have a moment like that, and I don't even think that showed much of his personality.
Right.
You know, because my son has a super big personality, but just the look on his face of excitement from just being able to get a high five and how that touched instantly the hearts of so many different people, you know. I think that's what everybody's trying to capture on a more consistent basis.
Right.
What is it that people want to see?
Right. That moment.
What is that moment going to entail, you know? And from all the videos I posted of him playing around, that one was the last one I thought would really get that moment, but I understand why.
It's cool when you're able to touch so many different people, you know, on that type of scale, and it's not always what you expect. You know, sometimes I think when you make content, you're like, man, this is it. This is the one that's gonna do it. You're like, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's crazy what actually touches people, you know, and it's just that authentic, that raw, you know.
Sure. Even
if you're not expecting it, man, I think when you're peeling back everything and you show people and open up those doors, it allows for so much more, man. I appreciate you coming. I want you to drop something. So for you, you know, there was a little bit of a journey there, right?
Yeah.
And from the start to the finish, and you got your school coming up, man, and reaching people nationwide, potentially worldwide now, you know, and you've incorporated more video. What's something you would go back in time and be like, you know what, that young athlete that really wants to put in work, that's in grind mode, that maybe isn't respected the way they should be, what would you tell that young athlete as they're moving forward in life, career-wise? I want you to talk to the camera.
You know, right now, what I would tell that young athlete, or what I would tell my younger self, is create a plan. You know, whatever it is you want to do in life, whatever your passion is, right? One thing I've learned is people are making money doing everything, right? If you're passionate about something, you know, start researching. How are people making money doing that, right? Even if it's video, I know, you know, a lot of you young people like video games, right? I wish, you know, back when I was in college, you know, I was trying to find avenues to make money playing video games, because I know I spent a lot of time doing that. But whatever you're passionate about, you know, because regardless if you make it to the NFL or not, it's not going to last forever, you know. And, you know, looking back, I wish there were some time I had spent, you know, really diving in, even if it's like, yo, football is my passion, I want to coach, you know, taking those steps at an earlier age and just planning out what I want it to look like, you know, because you wouldn't go into a game without a game plan. You know, why would we go through life without one?
Boom. I love that. Marcus, man. Good as always, man.
For sure, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Glad you came, man. Bro.
For sure.
Yeah.